Hello, everybody. I'm going to talk a little bit about my summer research funded by the 1693 Scholars Program at the European X-ray Free Electron Laser located just outside of Hamburg, Germany. So I was looking at a molecule that has different magnetic properties based on what type of light we shine on it. And I used a few different techniques that you can read here to study different components of this molecule. You can see a diagram of it here and how the conformation of the molecule changes based on exposure to UV or visible light, and whether it's in a paramagnetic state or a diamagnetic state. First, I spent a few weeks on synthesis. For certain types of spectroscopy, you need other reference molecules to see how they behave in order to get a good idea of how the molecule in question behaves. So, that was entailed by the synthesis. Next, as we saw, this molecule changes based on the type of light that you shine on it, and so figuring out the best and most efficient way to shine light on this molecule to make the change happen is also important. So all of the lights and the tubes and the setups that you see here are involved in that and how I created that setup. That was all preparation for what's called the beam time, which is a lot of time on a very, very high power light source, in this case, an X-ray light source, on which we were doing X-ray absorption spectroscopy. So you can see here my little setup in the hutch. You can see a pellet that I've pressed and put into this metal frame. In the red, you can see our first results from this absorption spectroscopy, and in the blue upper left, you can see a view from in the hutch and even see the color of ionized atmosphere caused by this X-ray. After the beam time, I had a little bit of time to get to know this molecule more personally, and so I conducted some UV-Vis or spectrophotometry studies. You can see here the absorption spectrum of this molecule, in fact, does change when ultraviolet light is applied to it. So that's a means for us to track how far a sample of molecule has progressed from its diamagnetic form to its paramagnetic form. There's a bit of data analysis that I can extract from this data, including the quantum yield or the number of photons it takes to switch from one form to another. And I also was able to confirm the first order kinetics of this reaction that was hypothesized by previous groups. I was also able to isolate the absorption spectrum of the completely closed ring molecule, which is experimentally not possible to do because that molecule only exists as a mixture with the open ring molecule. And second to last, I conducted a transient absorption study which involves pumping a sample with a light source of choice, in this case 267 nanometers, so in the ultraviolet range, and then a very short time period after pumping with white light or light that's all the colors and getting an absorption spectrum from this. We know that this cyclization process happens over around 10 picoseconds, and so I conducted this study in intervals of 0.05 picoseconds in order to capture the real-time dynamics of the cyclization process, which you can see in the colored surface plot here. From that, I extracted a few traces that give us the lifetimes of certain events, like you see in the red and the blue. The next step would be density functional theory and time-dependent density functional theory, which is a method to understand how, first of all, how molecules are arranged in space based on the Coulombic attraction and repulsion of protons and electrons, which are interpreted as a cloud or a density in DFT, but then also with the time-dependent aspect to predict what the absorption in the visible range of these molecules are, and we can compare that with the experimental results that I just talked about to gain more information about the specific electronic transitions responsible for these absorption spectra and possibly for the transient spectra. That's all from me. If this project was interesting to you, I want you to know that it is totally possible to just email a lab and apply. And especially if you have a source of funding from William and Mary or elsewhere, use that funding to go pursue an option that seems really cool to you in a new place. Thank you.